Hey YouTube, my name is Nick James and I'm going to be teaching you how to play guitar. I've been playing guitar for over 25 years and wanted to share some of the concepts that help me the best and hopefully will save you a lot of time. Today we're going to be talking about this two-note chord that's used constantly in songwriting, and it could turn you into a professional instantly. The whole concept is about taking two notes out of a major or minor chord and just playing those to outline the chord changes. So you'll hear this, and probably more and more in pop songs, where the guitar part doesn't have full chords being played, but instead just two-note little chords. And we learned in the last video about the chord scale, and I think I'll kind of start there to outline the concept of how to use these two-note chords. So if you looked at the key of G, this E-shaped G chord has a 1 on top, and it has a third right here. So you'll have G and you'll have B. And this is the only third in this chord shape. And the third note of a chord really distinguishes whether it's major or minor. So you can get a lot out of this chord by just playing these two notes. And shifting this to a minor third changes the whole feeling of the chord. So when you're learning your chord scale, we kind of went over in the last lesson playing bar chords with this whole chord scale. You can actually even just play the same chord scale using these intervals, and it'll kind of accomplish the same thing, where you can see not only the whole, half, whole, half kind of cadence for the major scale, but you'll also be able to tie in, whether it's a major or minor chord. And, the whole chord scale would go something like major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, and then back to the one, major. This seventh, although it has a minor third, we call it a half diminished chord because it's the only chord out of the 7 in the chord scale that doesn't have what's called a perfect fifth. So when you're playing your bar chords, you're starting to see that the fifth in that chord, in this case we have G and D, whether I play G major or G minor, the fifth is always the same note. So when you're playing, your major and minor chords, that perfect fifth is always going to be the same chord, whether you're playing it as a major or minor chord. When you get to the half diminished chord, which we're not going to touch on too much, but it is basically using a flat 5. That's what gives us this really weird sound. And it's not conventionally used in songwriting, and we'll kind of touch on that later. It's not really something a beginner or even really intermediate guitarist needs to learn about just yet. But that's the idea with these two-note chords, is you're playing the first and third. If you were to play the first and fifth of every chord, it's just not enough for your ear to distinguish whether that's supposed to be a major or minor chord. And they're called like power chords. You'll hear them a lot in like rock and roll music. And they have their place, but this, concept of playing the third is really pretty and can actually, help you be a songwriter instantly. You can come up with really cool chord progressions by just fiddling around with these intervals. So when you're playing this E-shaped chord, the third is either on the G string, major third, or if you move it down a half step, it's minor third. When you play the A shape, if we go down to C major, the third is going to be on the B string. So it's just going to shift down a string, and it's going to be actually up here for the major third. And minor third, you're just going to move back one fret. And just a couple examples for you to check out. An old song would maybe be Blackbird by the Beatles, which goes something like this. Don't criticize me too much. I didn't practice this, but just generally. The chords flowing through the whole song just use those 2-note chords. And another one would maybe be like Love Yourself by Justin Bieber. So these little 2-note chords are used in pop music a lot, and they'll turn you into a songwriter overnight if you just start learning this chord scale and where chords are major and minor. You can instantly start to play around with these and create music for yourself. Thanks for watching, and if you like these videos, subscribe to the channel and share with anybody that's trying to learn guitar.